So Canada's Public Safety Minister, Rempel Goodale, just completely tripled, quadrupled, I don't even know at this point, down on covering up the Atwal affair. Him and I got into it in question period. Watch our exchange and then watch my conversation with my colleague Candice Bergen, who was there, and yeah, it was quite the show. Watch this.
So if what the Public Safety Minister said was right, the media got no classified information, but they couldn't report the story because they didn't have the full context. And without the full context, they would be spreading misinformation and bits and snippets of false information. So wouldn't you say that without giving Parliament this full context, that in fact it's the Public Safety Minister that's spreading disinformation and playing partisan games?
Well said.
Order. The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, in case the opposition missed it, the media have already reported all of that information very extensively, and there was no classified information included. And I would point out, as senior Conservative bloggers have done in the last short while, the key issue is the broader and classified context around the Atwal matter. We have offered the Leader of the Opposition to have that full classified briefing, but so far he has declined. So the essential question is why the Conservative opposition is choosing to remain deliberately ignorant.
The Honourable Member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
Speaker, given what the Public Safety Minister just said, how was the media supposed to know what was classified information and what wasn't? They've sent out the National Security Advisor, who has some of the most confidential information in our country, to the media. They didn't say what was right, and if they couldn't distinguish that, how could the media put forward a true story at all? The only person here who is admitting to anything is that the PMO put out the Public Safety Advisor of our country to spin for the Prime Minister. This person needs to come to committee. They need to come clear, or else how is Canada supposed to have
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, let me make it abundantly clear that we have the utmost respect and trust for Daniel Jean. He has served governments in this country with distinction and honour for over 35 years, and there's no question about his integrity or his dedication to Canada. The honourable member seems to be bewildered, and I think the problem is she doesn't have the facts. We are offering to give her leader the entire classified briefing so she can have the facts and end her stunning bewilderment.
I'm so excited. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's my colleague Candice Bergen and
my colleague Michelle.
Okay,
she helped me getting the whole Facebook Live going.
We just came out of question period, and this is something else. Okay, so breaking it down for people, the issue of the Atwal affair is that
the India scandal.
This is
for those of you, Atwal, who's Atwal? You all remember the horrible India trip that the Prime Minister came home from, invited a terrorist, a convicted attempted murderer to, and then trying to cover it up. That's what we've been asking about, the cover-up.
So what happened was, my understanding is that when the media found out that this guy had been invited along to the trip, the PMO, we don't know, somebody trotted out the National Security Advisor to give the media a briefing to spin, I guess, like a conspiracy theory, saying that the Indian government had invited Atwal on the trip in an effort to discredit Trudeau. That was what they spun, right?
Right. This was the PMO and the Prime Minister's damage control. He knew he was in trouble because of this horrible judgment that he continually displays. Instead of just taking responsibility, he floated out his National Security Advisor, told the media that, well, maybe India was involved. So what we've been doing over the last number of weeks, and you'll remember that we forced about over 20 hours of votes on this, all we are asking for is the same briefing that the media received.
That seems reasonable.
That's all we're asking for.
And they've been, avoiding this for I guess, almost a month and a half at this, a
Yes.
month, right?
And
they've
now
gone
they're
to pure,
spinning.
yeah,
Now they're spinning.
Ralph was the one that was caught by the elevators by reporters
a couple
asking
weeks
him
ago.
about okay, so this is what just happened like 5 minutes ago. So our leader Andrew Scheer got up in the House and asked him, like, essentially again, why if you sent out a national security advisor to the media, why can't we have the briefing? Why won't you just do this? But then they couldn't get their story straight, right? So Ralph Goodale said, well, no, you need to have a private briefing to have the full context, because otherwise
it's classified. He said, Ralph Goodale said yesterday that the information that the media received was classified. Today, we called them on it, and they switched their story around. So within the first 10 minutes of question period, they said, okay, no, it wasn't classified, but then they went on to try to change the topic. So we then started to ask back again, all right, if it's not classified information, can we please have the same information the media was provided? And of course, as we do in question period, we're relentless. We just keep going, hoping to get an answer.
So you asked two questions, and Ralph responded to you something about like, well, you can't talk about this, otherwise there'd just be bits and snippets of information. So when my round came up, I said, okay, well, how is the media supposed to honestly report on this story if they only got bits and snippets of information? And he was so frustrated with the fact, like
Ralph's really frustrated. He's got no answer,
like
and they're
he
putting
was
him
just
up.
shaking, right?
Yeah.
So he was so riled. And I mean, to be fair, Candice, like, how would you feel if you had to be trotted out by the PMO?
Well, the problem is they keep the web of lies we weave when those we tried to deceive.
Yes.
They keep on floating out little snippets of truth, but mostly lies. And Ralph's the one who's having to defend it.
Like he's holding the bag on this, and that's kind of,
So-
that's got to be
so-
terrible for him. So yes, so then at the end he stands up and he's just shaking with fury, and he goes, what did he say? He goes, well, the member opposite is stunningly bewildered.
Tremendously or stunningly?
Stunningly bewildered.
Maybe, yeah, I mean,
Like-
really. Now, of course, and by the way, can I just remind everyone, yesterday, you may have been watching this or you might have heard of it, Bill Morneau was asked by Lisa Raitt
That's right.
about his hypocrisy, because this so-called gender budget, he actually hasn't followed. I mean, he's got a massive, his Morneau Chappelle board had virtually no women on it. His own finance department have no women on it. And he's got less women than men in his own finance department. So Lisa Raitt asked him about this yesterday. And he said, anybody who disagrees with me, I guess I'll have to pull them along with their knuckles dragging, and they
Like
are
a Neanderthal.
like Neanderthals. So yesterday we had Bill Morneau call one of our female politicians a Neanderthal, and today you were told you're
stunningly bewildered.
Yes, and so I mean, two things. First of all, we demand an apology. We're so offended, aren't we offended?
No, I guess, like we're sitting
Double
here,
standard.
you're catching us right after QP, and
Literally.
we're kind of laughing
Get
about it. But
around.
on the other hand, this is so serious. Like,
It
think
is.
about this. This is the National Security Advisor of Canada. This is the Public Safety Minister of Canada. This is the Prime Minister of this country. And they're covering this up. There's nothing else here. So this is why you need to be worried about this and concerned about this. This is why you need to tell your friends and neighbors who maybe have voted for Justin Trudeau in the past that this isn't fun and games.
No.
They willfully use the media, institutions, public
public
servants
servants,
to spin their absolute failure to manage the economy.
Exactly.
They use this guy to cover up for the disaster of a trip, and it's wrong. It's just wrong, and that's what we need to show people, and that's what we just did in question period.
We
So
did.
stunningly bewildered.
We can handle an insult here or there.
They hate
They don't
women.
like conservative women, for sure.
We get under their skin.
Yeah, they're fake feminists. That's
Totally,
the bottom line.
100%.
And
Real feminists.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here. Just
Full
saying.
equality. We don't need any special treatment. We're there on our merit.
I almost think they
And
need special treatment against us.
I think they do.
I think so.
They need a mullet.
Totally. See you
Okay,
guys later.
thanks.
Working hard for you in Ottawa.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.